Okay, recording started, I think. Can I welcome you to the Cabinet, Monday, 24th of May, 2021. It's just 2 o'clock, and I told you something would go off, but there you are. Can I remind you that everybody present at this meeting is being live streamed as well as recorded via the internet, and this recording will be archived for future viewing. So let's get into the agenda proper. Apologies for absence, as I can see everybody here. There are none. The second item is the minutes of the last meeting. I don't know if anybody is happy to move and second them. I wasn't obviously there, so I can't.
I'll move, leader.
I'll formally second.
Thank you very much indeed. Third item is to receive declarations of interest, if there are any. I don't think any have been received. Okay. I'm going to change the agenda slightly. There's a reference, or there is an item which is a reference from the corporate performance in relation to the consideration of senior management structure within the council. I am going to take that at the end of the agenda, so it allows any senior members to leave before we discuss it. So I will be taking that at item 7, for want of a better word. Okay. Okay. We've done the minutes, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the renewal of the Welsh translation contract. This basically seeks, it's a housekeeping in some respects, the report seeks approval to tender for the procurement of a renewed Welsh translation contract. The current contract is with Cardiff and is due to end on the 31st of August 2021. And the council is obviously required to engage in a procurement exercise to ensure the Welsh translation contract is in place by the 1st of September to avoid a disruption in the service. As you may know, in order to comply with the Welsh language standards, the council is required to translate documents and information so as to make them available both in Welsh and English. The council does have a Welsh language promotion strategy, and it does encourage the use of Welsh by staff and residents. It's estimated lately that there's 21% of the available Morgan residents are Welsh speakers. And it's also important to know that prior to the arrangements with Cardiff, we did have our own in-house, but clearly because the amount of translation we were doing, we decided to go out with Cardiff. That was a 4-year contract, which I say ends shortly. Clearly, the Welsh language service is essential to comply with the Welsh language standards and indeed the requirements of the Local Government and Election Wales Act 2021, which will actually increase the amount of translated material we have to produce. So it's proposed to undertake a procurement exercise. The anticipated contract duration will be for a period of 3 years, with an option to extend for a further 1 year, and with an option for the council to break at any time after 2 years, but by giving 6 months notice. And as I said, the anticipated start date is the 1st of September. There is a timescale within the report, and that shows that we should have a report back to us by the 19th of July. So quite simply, the recommendations are that the Cabinet approve the proposals as set out in the report to enable a tender process to be conducted to renew the Council's Welsh language translation service, and that the Cabinet receive a further report at the conclusion of the tender exercise to seek approval to award the contract at that stage, and we hope that will be by the 19th of July. So it's a case of we have to renew the contract. It is an essential part of our work, and I formally move.
And formally second, leader.
Okay, does anybody else got any comments in relation to that, please? In that case, that's agreed, and we will move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is agenda item 6, and it's to approve the Housing Support Grant Commissioning Programme for 2021 and to agree arrangements to award the necessary support contracts. Margaret, I think you are taking this one, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. Yes, it is to approve the Housing Support Grant, and the Housing Support Grant Programme is the policy and funding framework for developing housing-related support to the vulnerable people. In different types of accommodation across all tenancies, at a local level with the programme, make sure that everything is in place for these vulnerable people. The Support and People team carried out 3 tendering exercises for the contracts, and they were due to expire in early 2021. The emergency powers were requested from and granted by the managing director towards these contracts. There is 10 existing housing support contracts and are due to expire in summer 2021. As detailed in the HSG Commission scheme schedule, which is appended and needs to be looked at for bringing this into the supporting team. They are thinking of commission 7 new contracts that incorporate all excellent services with no loss of service provided due to the high volume of these individual contracts. Above, is that 300,000?
Yeah.
Delegate authority is being sound from Cabinet to award these contracts to the successful people. Due to the large number of individual contracts that is required, we believe it would be best to drop it down to 7 to bring it all into level and for these contracts to go forward. So I'm asking for your support. In conclusion, it is the supporting team from Council Cabinet to carry out this exercise and housing related support contracts above. Can I ask for your please approval?
Okay, thank you, Margaret. Quite clearly, we've used emergency powers to enter other supporting people contracts. This isn't one to go down from 10 to 7, but covers the same amount of work. Seems sensible. They're above £300,000, so they need authority from us. And the recommendations are 1 to 4.
Oh, sorry, yes. So I forgot about the recommendations. 1 to 4.
1 to 4 that the Housing Support Grant Commission programme is approved. 2021 is approved. That the Cabinet agreed delegate authority to the Director of Environment and Housing to undertake tendering exercises to secure the services outlined in the Housing Service Grant Commissioning Programme 2021. The Cabinet delegates authority to the Director of Environment and Housing in consultation with myself, Cabinet Member for Housing and Building Services, Managing Director and Head of Finance, to award the contracts to the most economical advantage suppliers resulting from the procurement process as described in the report. And finally, the delegated authority is granted to the Monitoring Officer, Head of Legal and Democratic Services to agree the terms and execute the contracts.
Yeah, thank you, Leader, for that. I forgot about the recommendations.
It's okay, that's slightly important, but that's okay. Okay, right. So they're the recommendations. Does everybody agree them? So I'll formally second them. Is everyone agreed? Good. Thank you very much. In that case, I will come back to item, which was item 4, the reference from corporate performance and resources. And I will wait for the senior officers to leave before I go say anything further. I think they're all gone. I think so. Is there one left? No. Yeah, there's one just left. Okay, I think they're all gone now. So in that case, it was a bit strange to ask them to do that, but because the report that came to Cabinet last time went to corporate performance resources for consideration, it does mean that they would have an interest. Actually, in terms of the scrutiny committee, they discussed the report in full, and they noted the requirements and agreed with our process, and therefore they make no other further recommendations, and our decision of the last Cabinet stood at that time. So I have nothing more to say in terms of that. They agreed it, they noted it, and that process will now commence, and hopefully we'll have a report back in due course. So that's all there is. I don't know if anybody wants to technically second that I've noted the fact that they noted it, but
I'll technically second, Leader.
thank you. I have no other items under urgent part 1, and I have none under part 2 either. So can I thank you for your attendance to this meeting, and I'll see you all in either a few minutes or at least at the next meeting. So thank you very much for your attendance. And can I ask, thank you, Julie, I think there's one who was here too.